Welcome to today's Daily Walk in Wisdom, where we're looking at the book of Ecclesiastes and discovering all manner of philosophical understandings that we never even knew were in the Bible. We're in the second part of chapter 1 and verse 8, where it says, "The eye never has enough of seeing, nor the ear its fill of hearing." Immediately after talking about things that make us weary, the teacher introduces us to our senses, seeing and hearing. Add to these a sensation of touch and smell and taste. We've got a total of 5 natural senses. And God has given these to us as a gift so that we can interact with the world around us. How would you be if you were lacking these senses? How would you be if you couldn't see? Well, there are many people who lose their vision, and the world is blind to them, but they still have their hearing. They can still smell. They can still touch. So they can negotiate their way around the world through their other senses. In fact, their other senses are often more acute on account of the lack of sight. And so their gifts, their natural senses that they have are enhanced through the loss of one of their senses. But what if you lost all of your senses? It would be as though the world was lost to you, because we require these things. God has given us these things, made us with these things to be able to handle ourselves within a 3-dimensional world. And so everything under the sun is tangible to us. There's an infinite variety of elements for us to encounter and to enjoy through our senses. And from the moment that you're born until the moment that we die, then we could say that this world in which we inhabit is our reality. It is what we've been made for. God made us to be able to live within the dimension of this world. It is our reality. That's how we frame and identify ourselves. And from the world around us, we gather all the information that we need regarding life and the meaning of life within the context of this world, within our natural existence. So it's no wonder that the eye never has enough of seeing and the ear its fill of hearing, because we are constantly trying to make sense of ourselves and of the world around us and find fulfillment in the space in which we inhabit. So we're constantly looking and constantly hearing and constantly touching and constantly engaging with the world around us, with the people around us, with the culture in which we live, the church that you go to, the city or the country that you inhabit, constantly interacting. You're interacting without you even realizing it, and you're assessing and you're finding your place in the world, how you can stand and live and succeed, and not just survive, but to optimize your existence in this world in which we inhabit. That was the mandate that God gave to Adam. There's nothing wrong with that. This is what is taking place. It is how it is. Yet, we are told we can never have enough. So the description becomes a conundrum. Never enough. Got to figure out something else. In other words, the teacher is telling us that whatever we do and wherever we go throughout the world, we need more than what we can see and hear and taste and touch and smell, because there is never enough of all of those things to answer the need of our souls. That's why we enter into weariness. So figuring out exactly what the world is made of is a complicated task. We've got the created world, the natural world that we can all see and hear and touch, and then there is the world that Jesus died for. For God so loved the world. And finally, there is the world that we're told to come out of. And the first world is what the scientists deal with. The world is a collection of objective phenomena. There's a very good method for determining objective phenomena. It's called the scientific method. And through the scientific method, the world has become technologically powerful. The materialist would shout, "Should that not be enough?" And the answer to that, of course, is no. Why? Why is that not enough? Because that is not all that the world is. The world isn't just a place of inert matter, because it has a panoply of living, conscious creatures dwelling within it. People who are of a different order of being to inert matter. And the fundamental question for conscious, active, living creatures is not what is the world made up of, what is the objective perspective. It's not that. That's not the main issue for us who are living in the world. It's not what it's made up of, even though the scientist thinks that that is the only thing that's important. The most important thing in regards to the world in which we live is how we should conduct ourselves within it. And there's an unbridgeable gap between these two domains of inquiry. That's why, as a Christian, you are struggling with the rapid progression of science into areas that you know conflict with your moral beliefs. Because how we should conduct ourselves in the world is far more important to just those things that the scientist is endeavoring to pursue. Think about it this way. Science deals with matter, and we have to determine what matters. So that's two types of matter. It's matter and what matters. And what matters is always more important than matter. But science has an agenda, and so it attempts at all times to take what matters out of the question. The scientific method removes values and morals from its description so that you're left only with matter, that which is objectively verifiable. This is why the scientist has no moral objection to anything that can advance science, because science is amoral, at least it attempts to be amoral. Of course, those who are doing the science can never be amoral. We all have a moral agenda for good or for evil. Take that as far as you can, and you can end up, take science as far as you can by dissecting it and separating it from a moral perspective, and you will end up with Frankenstein's monster, or mandatory depopulation of the world, or the atomic bomb and biological warfare. Science provides us with an is, but it does not tell us how. How do we relate to a fact? So society has the idea that ultimate truth is scientific truth. Nothing could be further from the truth. But while science can tell us about the nature of the world, it cannot tell us how we should live in the world. And ultimately, how we should live is what we need to know. You can't derive what you should be or do from a collection of cold, hard facts because, well, first of all, there's an infinite number of facts. So how are you going to pick which ones should guide you? You can't. The facts do not tell you what to do with the fact. That's how dangerous the weariness that arises from things gets. So the teacher isn't being cute or bohemian when he points out the danger of making things your goal. There are very real consequences to thinking that objects and things are the only things that matter in life. And that's why we need a moral system, a value system that can guide us through the maze of technology and the plethora of stuff that is all around us. Otherwise, we won't be able to dwell successfully in the world in a meaningful way. And Ecclesiastes is all about meaning. The teacher tells us that what matters cannot be found under the sun, not by the scientific method, because it comes to us, what matters comes to us from beyond the sun. And for this reason, Jesus entered the world. He came to show us the way. He came to show us the truth. He came to show us the life, because we could never find what really matters without him. Think about it. Life is more than what you see or hear. Real life comes with an encounter. Comes with an encounter with God. Comes whenever you encounter another person. That's where the real life is. All the other stuff, it's here today and gone tomorrow. God bless you. We'll see you again tomorrow for more wisdom from the book of Ecclesiastes.